let's have a look at the keywords and see what the hell's going on. So to do that, we go into search terms. Now these are the things that people are actually putting into Google when they're searching for the product. And what we're going to sort it by is the number of impressions, the number of clicks, and the click-through rate. So let's start by sorting it by CTR, click-through rate. Now, CTR, click-through rate, is the single most important metric at this stage of the game, because it tells you how much that keyword relates to your actual product and will probably result in sales of your product. So let me break that down for you. Anybody who goes to Google and types in beeswax food covers Australia, that is a very, very good keyword because it's got what's called very high buyer intent. So lots and lots of buyer intent with that particular search term. Versus, let's go and have a look at something with low buyer intent. Beeswax wraps, which has got less buyer intent. There's lots and lots of things that somebody could be looking for when they type in beeswax wraps. But if they type in beeswax food covers Australia, they're most likely looking for a way to buy the product. I hope that makes sense. So given that that's the case, what do you think would be a brilliant search term for this product? They sell beeswax food wraps. They sell it on Amazon.com.au. So what do you think a great search term for them would be? Good. All right. So anybody that's typing that in, so whatever your product is, I mean, we're talking about beeswax food wraps, we could be talking about anything. Whatever your main search term is, so that's your main search term. That there. Whatever that is, plus the word Amazon is a fantastic search term to go after. Okay, it's a fantastic search term to go after. Now, nobody has searched for that on their product at first blush. But let's just check if somebody can actually, oh, well, they could actually do that. So that's kind of cool. So that search term there, beeswax food wrap, that would also show for that search term too. Okay, so that's covered in that. Everything's okay. But I usually like to add it in as well for my own campaigns. I usually add it in as well just so that it shows up. And I think if you are selling on Amazon.com, it is a must to have that in there. So your main search term plus Amazon, it's a must to have that in there. And I covered that again on that initial training. All right, so that's the keywords. The keywords actually look pretty good. I can't see anything specifically I would be interested in altering right now. Your click-through rate is kind of low. 2% is average. I'm not going to say low actually because that's incorrect. 2% is average. Okay, so your search term click-through rate is average. Between 2 and 3% on Google is average. Notice that some of them are at 33%, which is high, 11% high. So there's some good stuff in there, okay? Now let's start doing our optimization. To do that, the first thing we want to check is how often is our advert showing for our given search terms. So we do that in Auction Insights. So here's all of the competitors. I love Google, holy shit. So here's all the competitors. Actually, let me save this too. So here's all the competitors. Dunk, 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 dunk. Here's you. So your share of the possible impressions is 46%, whereas B-Rappy, they're pretty much every time somebody searches for beeswax wraps or some form of a derivative of that, they are showing up, and they're showing up on page 1, position 1. So they are, as far as Google's concerned, the market leader. But here's an interesting quirk of Google. You do not want to be page 1, position 1 on Google for the search term if you've got competition. What you want to be, this is a terrible thing. So normally you would see the adverts are like here, plus the Google Shopping is all here, plus there's normally down this what's called the right rail on the right hand side, there's usually more advertisements as well. That's normally what you see, okay? What you want to be is in position number 4, which is the top position on the right rail. That's where you want to be, because we read from left to right, like that, from left to right. So that means you look at all these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the first thing you see is position number 4 on the right hand side. That's where you want to aim to be. It is a cheap place to be, but it's also a very good place to be. So if we look what your advert average position is, 4.1, that's perfect. That's exactly where you should be. Now the problem is you're only being shown half the time, which is bad. So you're missing out on doubling your number of people who see your advert, and that's all a function of not being optimized. That's why that is the way it is. Deb says, can we do anything in the settings to get the average position 4.1? No. You've kind of just got to bid the right amount of money. So Google is an auction. It's an auction. So that person there is potentially going to pay more than that person there to be there. So that's because Google works on an auction. The person who bids the highest, they get shown the highest. So it's an auction based. So if I wanted to be in position number 4, which would be that position there, I'd have to bid appropriately. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.